At 75, memories often blur into fragments, yet the past is a way of rising again, demanding to be seen in the present. The British royal family, so defined by its traditions, now stands at a fragile crossroads, entangled in whispers that strike at the very heart of its legacy. At the center of the storm is Queen Camilla, a woman whose path into the monarchy was anything but smooth. A secret DNA test has thrown shadows on a long-guarded past, raising unsettling questions about her daughter Laura Lopez's true paternity. Could such a revelation shake the foundation of the monarchy itself? Could a family built on lineage and duty survive the weight of private truths becoming public storms? These questions echo not just through palace walls, but across a world still fascinated by royalty's fragile humanity. Camilla's story was never that of a fairy-tale princess. While Queen Elizabeth II was remembered for empire, politics, and a reign that stretched across continents, Camilla's ascent was woven through a different fabric: love, desire, and persistence. She was not a figure crowned for her deeds, but for her presence in the life of the man who would one day be king. From her youth, she was vibrant, confident, and unafraid of going after what she wanted. That fire would carry her into the orbit of Prince Charles in the early 1970s, when she was around 25 years old. The connection between them was immediate, almost undeniable. Camilla, with her boldness, reminded Charles of a shared ancestry, lightly teasing him with the tale of a common forebay. It was playful, but it stuck. That moment created a bond that would haunt them both for decades, a spark that duty, marriages, and distance could not fully extinguish. Yet love stories inside the monarchy rarely unfold without interruption. Charles soon departed to serve in the Royal Navy, pulled away by obligations greater than desire. In his absence, Camilla's attention shifted, and she became involved with Brigadier Andrew Parker Bowles, a man deeply entrenched in military life and intelligence circles. Their relationship soon turned into marriage, and with Andrew she would have 2 children, Tom and Laura. For many, that might have been the end of her story with Charles. But whispers soon began to rise, whispers that Charles never truly let her go. Even after her marriage, rumors spread of quiet visits, private meetings, and a connection that defied distance. Were they simply friends, or was it something more? The palace never offered clarity, and speculation only deepened. Charles's own path took him into one of the most famous romances in modern history. Pressured by expectations, his attention turned first to Sarah Spencer and then to her younger sister, Diana. What followed was a royal wedding of the century, the 1981 spectacle between Charles and Diana Spencer, a marriage broadcast to millions around the world. It was presented as a fairy tale Britain longed for, youthful Diana in a flowing gown, Charles stepping into his destiny as a prince and husband. But behind the glitter, ghosts lingered. Camilla remained in the background, her presence muted yet unshakable, an unspoken reminder of a love unresolved. Princess Diana's heartbreak soon became the world's heartbreak. Her candid admission that their marriage was crowded with 3 people tore open the private fractures of the royal family. The pain spilled into public view, reshaping the monarchy's image forever. Charles, often perceived as cold or unapologetic, did not hide the fact that Camilla remained central to his life. For Diana, this betrayal was devastating, and the world rallied behind her in sympathy. The narrative was cruelly simple: Diana, the wrong princess, versus Camilla, the other woman. Yet beneath the headlines were complicated people, bound by choices they could not undo. The collapse of Charles and Diana's marriage was inevitable. After their separation and Diana's tragic death in 1997, Camilla became more visible in Charles's world. The backlash was brutal. Public anger painted her as the architect of Diana's sorrow, the undeserving mistress who now sought legitimacy. Yet Camilla, resilient and patient, endured the hatred. Over time, she strategically reintroduced herself to the public, leaning on her relationship with Charles while maintaining a quieter profile. She chose not to confront the accusations head-on, but instead to wait. Her patience eventually paid off, and by 2005 she officially married Charles in a subdued civil ceremony. Years later, she would wear the crown as Queen Consort, a title that once seemed impossible. But even as Camilla rose, opposition remained. Among the fiercest was Princess Anne, Charles's only sister and one of the hardest-working royals in history. Anne's reputation as a tireless figure in service, as well as a no-nonsense personality, gave her an authority few others possessed. She represented tradition, discipline, and an unshakable loyalty to the crown. Camilla, by contrast, carried a history of scandal and controversy. While the two women could present a united front in public, reports suggest that tension lingered behind closed doors. Their rivalry wasn't just about royal duties. It reached deep into their personal histories. That history tied them both to Andrew Parker Bowles, a man who played a unique role in their lives, and, in her youth, had her own romance with a brigadier. But religious differences cut their bond short. Anne's Anglican faith and Andrew's steadfast Catholicism meant marriage was impossible, leaving their relationship unfinished. Soon after, Andrew's path crossed with Camilla's, and he became her husband. For Anne, perhaps, this was an old wound, a reminder of what might have been. For Camilla, it became the start of a complicated marriage filled with rumors of infidelity. Whispers claimed that Andrew's wandering eye may have led him back to familiar flames, possibly even rekindling sparks with Anne. If true, such betrayals would have deepened Camilla's resentment and complicated her rivalry with Anne even further. It was this tangled web of loyalty and rivalry that set the stage for the palace's most controversial secret, the alleged DNA test. According to sources, Princess Anne played a decisive role in organizing this test in the years leading up to Camilla's coronation. The purpose was devastatingly simple: to determine whether Laura Lopez, long recognized as Andrew Parker Bowles' daughter, might actually be Charles' child. Such a discovery would carry explosive implications, not just for Laura herself but for the entire line of succession. If Laura were truly Charles' eldest daughter, it could challenge the position of Prince William, rewriting the future of the monarchy in ways that no one could have anticipated. For Laura Lopez, the revelation was shattering. Having grown up in the shadow of royalty but never in its spotlight, she built a life away from constant public scrutiny. To suddenly be drawn into a secret investigation about her very identity was overwhelming. Reports describe her as reluctant to participate, but ultimately pressured into compliance. Imagine the weight of sitting in a secretive meeting, chaired by Princess Anne herself, as questions about your very bloodline are whispered in rooms you never chose to enter. The emotional toll was immense, leaving Laura caught between loyalty to her mother, love for the man who raised her, and the shocking possibility that her life was not what she thought it was. Inside Buckingham Palace, the whispers spread quickly. If the test results confirmed suspicions, the monarchy could be thrust into one of the most destabilizing crises of its history. The entire institution is built on bloodlines, tradition, and legitimacy. To question that foundation, especially so soon after the death of Queen Elizabeth II, risked unraveling not just Camilla's legacy but the stability of the crown itself. The stakes were enormous. A monarchy that had survived abdications, divorces, scandals, and wars now faced the threat of its very succession being called into doubt. The implications of this DNA test go far beyond personal pain. Since the succession to the Crown Act of 2013, the firstborn child, male or female, holds the right to inherit the throne. If Laura were proven to be Charles's daughter, she would, by law, have a claim before Prince William. Could the monarchy withstand such an upheaval? Could the public accept a new heir, reshaping history's expectations? And if the truth were concealed, what would that say about the monarchy's commitment to transparency? Every possibility carried danger. Every path led to uncertainty. For Camilla, the stakes were deeply personal. On one hand, such a revelation could secure her daughter's place in royal history, cementing her family's legacy within the crown itself. On the other hand, the scandal could destroy decades of careful rebuilding, undoing all the work she and Charles had done to win public trust. The gamble was immense, one that placed her in a precarious balance between triumph and downfall. For Princess Anne, however, the act was about loyalty to the monarchy. By allegedly spearheading the test, she reinforced her image of protector of royal tradition, willing to risk family harmony for the integrity of the crown. And then there's King Charles, caught at the center of it all. If he truly was unaware of the secret test, as some suggest, his discovery of it could fracture not only his trust in but also his relationship with Camilla. The king has spent his life trying to balance personal love with royal duty, often failing to keep them apart. Now, as monarch, the stakes are higher than ever. His decision, whether to confront the truth or to bury it, will define his reign. Will he protect Camilla and Laura at all costs, or will he prioritize the monarchy's survival above personal ties? These are choices no one envies, yet they rest squarely on his shoulders. As of now, the results of the alleged DNA test remain hidden from the public. Whether they will ever be revealed is uncertain. Palace officials weigh the risks of disclosure against the risks of silence. If revealed, the monarchy could face a reckoning unlike any before. If concealed, the whispers will only grow louder, eroding public trust in an age when secrecy is harder than ever to maintain. The monarchy, built on centuries of tradition, finds itself vulnerable in the modern world where no secret stays buried for long. This saga, filled with love, betrayal, ambition, and rivalry, highlights the fragile humanity behind royal titles. It reminds us that even in palaces lined with gold, the same questions persist. Who am I? Who can I trust? What will history say about me? Laura Lopez may have never sought a place in history, but history may now be seeking her. Queen Camilla, after a lifetime of surviving judgment, faces perhaps her greatest test yet. Princess and ever the defender of tradition, may hold the key to unraveling or protecting the crowned future. And King Charles, torn between heart and duty, must navigate choices that could alter not only his family but the entire monarchy. The world watches, waiting for answers that may never fully come. Will the truth emerge, reshaping the monarchy's story forever? Or will it remain a carefully guarded secret, whispered in the corridors of Buckingham Palace but never spoken aloud? The crown has endured crises before, but this one strikes at its very foundation. The legacy of the House of Windsor now hangs in the balance, suspended between tradition and revelation, loyalty and betrayal, love and power. One thing is certain, the story is far from over, and as this chapter continues to unfold, we'll be here to follow it, to tell the stories behind the crown, and to look beyond the glitter into the shadows where truth and rumor intertwine. If you found this story captivating, remember to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more deep looks into the lives, secrets, and legacies of the world's most famous family.